Okay, let's get to it. I'm so excited because, when we are looking to succeed and prosper, you want to hear from the best of the best. And we absolutely have that today. We're talking about the expansion of leadership. Everything rises and falls on leadership. I believe John Maxwell said that. I'm not 100% sure, but somebody said it.
Yep.
Everything rises and falls on leadership. And yes, you may be a student, but at some point you must become a leader. And you can still always be a student and a follower, but you can always be a leader as well. And so what I love is that leadership is everything. This guy, he is a certified John Maxwell coach. Now, I don't know about you, but if you know John Maxwell, okay, he is one of the most authoritative leaders on leadership. So when you want to know someone who has gone to the School of Philosophy of John Maxwell, we are blessed. We are blessed. And he has so many other accolades behind his name. He's a great leader, phenomenal and fantastic. We're kicking this call off with 5-star, soon to be Black Diamond Ambassador, the amazing, the transformational machine, as I said in my text, Paul Kroto. Good morning.
Good morning, Linda.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
Good. Great. Just one
outstanding. You always look so amazing. And today's call is really all about you. So we're going to call this the Linda call. And it's about leadership, but it's about personal growth. We're going to spend a lot of time on really how to expand leadership. And the real key here is to work on yourself first. So this is actually, we love coming here. Cheryl and I love coming here once a month to share our leadership knowledge with all of you. Our main mission in life is to help all of you build better businesses and become better leaders. So you can, and what leadership means is leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. So we want to influence other people on a better way. You always hear about bad influences. Well, we're good influences. We help people see the light. We see that there's a better way to take care of yourself health-wise. So we help people with physical health and mental health, emotional health, and financial health, which is health that we all need. So we do a podcast. It's at elevatepodcast.com. This is actually going to be airing next Thursday on June 2nd, but this is podcast number 85. Wow. Moving right along, Cheryl. But today I had the privilege, as I do every day, to be joined by the top leader in longevity. She is the master distributor. She has hundreds of thousands of people in her organization. She has everybody in her organization. And she is just good. If you had to pick someone to be the leader of longevity, there's nobody in the world you'd pick besides Cheryl. So Cheryl, I want to turn the call over to you.
Thank you so much, Paul. Thank you. And I am so excited to be with you guys today and talk about leadership and some of the stuff that's going on. So I love John Maxwell, and Linda, our prayers are with you, my friend. Oh my gosh. Okay. So that just really touches my heart every time I hear that story. So, all right. So what we're going to talk about today is how we can expand our leadership. Right? How can we do that? And I'm super excited that we can do that, because I think if you guys remember, I always thought that you are who you are. There's not, either you got it or you don't. I thought that my whole life. And so I had no idea that each of us can expand our leadership through personal growth. That's the way we do it. Right? And that is so exciting to me, because that means that we are in control of becoming a better leader. So you have to work on yourself before you can work on others. Okay, that really makes me laugh. I think I was always trying to work on others my whole life, especially when I was young. I was trying to work on my brothers and sisters and, the people in church. And oh my, I was just all full of great ideas for every one of them, right? But we need to remember that we have to work on ourselves first. So a leader has to gain more wisdom in order to be able to share wisdom, right? I mean, that just makes sense. If you don't have wisdom to share, don't be sharing anything, right? So we have to work on that and get the wisdom ourselves first so that we can do that. And it all really does come down to, Paul, developing yourself. So each of us need to be developing ourselves.
Absolutely, Cheryl. And what I love, I love this title we have today, The Expansion of Leadership, because of course, like you just said, it's about developing yourself, but it's also putting in our minds, planting the seed that this is going to expand, that we're not just working on becoming better leaders ourselves, which is that's where it starts, but that's not where it stops. And then we got to move out and expand leadership, create what do great leaders do? Really? They create more great leaders. So it's expanding. That's the key here, and something we really are working on implementing, Cheryl and myself, here at Youngevity. So I love that John tells all kinds of great stories, and we just finished reading out of the book, How to Develop the Leader Within You 2.0. So this is the second version of that book, because one of the first books John's ever released is How to Develop the Leader Within You. And he tells a story in this book, how he gets depressed when he reads books that he wrote 5 years ago or listens to speeches he did 5 years ago. I mean, he's like, he just starts cringing, and I know I love to go back and listen to recordings we've done in the past. And Cheryl's like, oh, no, thank you. I'm not going to do that, because you look back and you're like, wow, that was so bad. At the moment, it sounds fantastic. But as time goes on, as we grow, that information we shared in the past isn't as good as we thought it was. So he's literally rewritten 3 of his books already. As a matter of fact, he's coming out on June 1st with the new edition of the 21 Laws of Leadership. And things change over time. Things always have to be refreshed. So I'm super excited. We're jumping into that series for the next 21 weeks. We hope all of you join us on that as we read the new book, the new 21 Laws of Leadership book. But Cheryl, I mean, John, all his growth happened for his commitment to personal growth. He's like, I'm going to grow every day, no matter what.
Yeah, I love that, Paul. And the greatest thing ever is that growth is the only guarantee. So we know there's a guarantee, and I love that. And so growth is a guarantee that tomorrow will get better. And how cool is that? That's like, to me, that's hope. And you guys, I love hope. I know it's not the only thing. I know there has to be some action with the hope, but I love to have hope. And really what it is it's growth. And that is an actual guarantee, like I said, that tomorrow will get better, right? And that is why we are so obsessed with the concept of elevate, right? So it really is the most important thing that each of us can do every day is elevate you. You have to elevate your life, all the different things, mental, physical, emotional. We talk so much about health and the importance of elevating our health. Right? That is so important. So if you don't get better in all of those areas and elevate in every area of your life, then, then nothing else can get better. Right? And how on earth, and I've thought about this a lot, when we started doing this particular podcast, I thought about, am I doing enough? And I think a lot of us think like that sometimes, right? Are we doing enough? Because really, like Paul said, our goal is to turn around and help others, right? We're climbing the mountain every single day. I don't know if it's 1 step, 2 step, 3 steps at a time. But as we do that, we need to reach back and help others up that mountain also. And again, I love that, Paul. I love that there is a guarantee that tomorrow will get better. I just think that's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, as long as we're committed to growth. I mean, that is a fantastic piece of information there. Now, the calendar guarantees that you're going to get older, but it does not guarantee that you'll get better. Okay. Now, so as Cheryl said, the only guarantee that you will elevate your life is by doing personal growth every single day. One of the funniest stories, Cheryl, that John shares in this chapter is he goes to his 50th class reunion. And he turns to his wife. He's like, man, everyone here looks old. I can't believe how old these people look. She's like, well, you're the same age as they are. But John has these 5 tips on ways to not act old. So I thought these were fantastic and something to take notes on.
Yeah, I love that, Paul. And so let's start out. So the very first one that he talks about is that we need to continue to ask questions, right? So these are the 5 things that he's going to do so that he doesn't act old, so that he's not, and he doesn't really think he's old anyway. I mean, he's like, I'm not old. I'm not getting old. They're old. I'm not, which is so funny. Anyway, I love that. I love that he doesn't feel like that, because I tend to feel the same way. So ask questions, and you need to really, curiosity is the fuel for growth, right? So we need to be curious, and that's just, and we can, and if we're not curious, he said, he doesn't think the older you get, the less curious you become, right? So we need to make sure that we're doing that. Keep the bar of excellence high, raise your standards. He says that as you get older, you tend to let your standards slip, right? So we don't want to do that. We want to continue on with raising our standards every day. And then the next one is people. You have to be people-centric. And I love this one, Paul. This is stop focusing on yourself and start focusing on others. The interesting thing about that is when I read that, I thought, how interesting is that when you're born and when you're growing up and you're young, it's the same way, right? I mean, you're self-absorbed. I've got 2 teenagers now at the moment, and it's like and so everyone says, oh, they're self-absorbed, or that's just how kids are when they're younger. It's all about them. It's how they view everything. It has nothing to do with anyone else. And it was interesting that then you go through life and you do all these things, and you kind of come out of that. And we're really trying to help people come out of that and really not focus on themselves, but focus on others and what we can do to help others. But then as you get older, John's saying that it happens again. And then you go back the other way. And so he says that it's so important to stop focusing on yourself and just make sure that you're focusing on others. So
I love this next one, Cheryl. It's be posture conscious. So I need to stand up a little bit here. So as Tony Robbins teaches us that our physiology controls our state. So if you're always slouched over or hunched over or just have bad posture, you're not going to be in a peak state. So motion creates emotion. So the more motion you're in, the better your posture, the better you get your body moving, the better you're going to feel. So, and he just, so all of these things that we're going over here, he just witnessed at his 50th class reunion that, no one's asking questions anymore. No one has the emotion of curiosity to grow. Their standard of excellence has been lowered. He's noticed that these people are not people-centric at all. They're just focusing on themselves, as Cheryl mentioned, going back to being a teenager. And their posture is bad. And last but not least, they're not focused on today, and so many people, this is the heart and soul of the Elevate Your Life movement, is people focusing on these past stories, or they're focusing on the present story. Your life will become what story you focus on. So remaining today focused, that this is a new moment in my life, and that it's not my past that equals my future. It's my decisions that determine my destiny. So I love that, Cheryl, and just the reminder that today matters. We got to make today count.
Yeah. We don't want to start tomorrow with something counting. We want to make sure.
No, that is not a good philosophy.
Today. Okay, well, I'll tell you the next part I absolutely love. So growth means change. And I love that John talked about this and says people want their lives to change, right? If you're not in the greatest situation, or you've got this vision board and you want this vision of the perfect life to come about, yet people don't want to change. So you want your life to change, but you don't want to change. And it's impossible to grow without change. So you have to be willing to change so that the situation that you're in will change. Now, every growth level calls for a new level of change. Every single level of growth, there has to be some kind of change. And I love that. Oh, go ahead.
No, so I was just going to chime in there and say, it's absolutely true that every new level that we reach does require us to become better leaders. And we hear so many people say, oh, Cheryl and Paul are so great. They do these podcasts. They're built these amazing businesses. I want to be like them. I want to do what they do, which is great. But the real question is, do you want to do what we did so you can do what we do? I'll repeat that. Do you want to do what we did in order to do what we do right now? And it just, so many people, like Cheryl just mentioned, say no to that. They're just like, I don't want to pay the price and have the self-discipline to do that.
Yeah, I love that. And think about that. I mean, like really think about, and it's the same way. I mean, we do the same thing. Hey, if we want this, we've got this vision of this perfect life, right? Are we willing to do what it takes to have that perfect life? And that's a great question, and that's a question that all of us should be asking ourselves every single day. And I love this. It's kind of like a mantra, this mantra that I really like. And it's, I am better than I was yesterday, but not as good as I will be tomorrow. I'm going to say that again because I really love it. I am better than I was yesterday, but not as good as I will be tomorrow. And I love that because you just have to continue to reach new heights in your life. Every single one of us, right? So I love that. I love that as a mantra, Paul. I'm going to start saying that every single morning.
Well, we're all into mantras. So that is my number one mantra. And you say that over and over again, it's who you become. And that's what the whole Elevate concept is based on, is I'm better today than I was yesterday, but not as good as I'm going to be tomorrow. So we're setting our minds up for even more growth tomorrow. And then if you have that kind of mentality, you're going to continue to reach new heights in your life all the time. Your life will continue to improve in every way by having that kind of mindset. So I love this next one, Cheryl, that growth is the great separator between those who succeed and those who don't. And unless you're watching us on YouTube or on Facebook here, it's going to be very difficult for you to see this, but two people start off equally, the same place. And as one person grows and the other person doesn't, there's a huge separation between those two people. You may have witnessed this yourself. That's why a lot of marriages and relationships don't work out, because one person grows, one person doesn't. And, when you continue to grow, like Cheryl just mentioned, things change. Growth means change. So it's so important to understand how growth is the great separator between successful people and non-successful people. So for growth to be maximized, you must be strategic. And that is what Cheryl and I do the best. We are very strategic in the topics we pick. We don't just come up with these things out of the air. Every single podcast we do, every single class we teach is for a very, very specific reason. We want to be intentional with what we do. We want to help you elevate your life. We want to help you elevate your business. We want to help you elevate other people. We want everything to go up and get better. So we have to ask ourselves, well, what the heck can we, first of all, what do we need to learn today so that we can pass that on to you? But it really starts with the question, what do all of you need from us? Where is the weak link? What area can we focus on to make that, or what can we do to make that area stronger? And so, Cheryl, John points out to us some areas of growth, some of these 4 areas that if we really want to be successful in life, there's really 4 areas that you spend all your time doing personal growth on.
Yeah. And, the interesting thing to me, Paul, is that word strategic. Now, Paul's very strategic. I haven't been that strategic.
I said we, Cheryl.
I know, because I have grown a little bit and I have learned to be strategic, even though it does not come naturally to me. So I love that if there's something that you need to do or that will help you grow, well, then you just decide that that's what you're going to do. And then you talk to people, or you can interview people, or you can read about it. But I love that Paul's really taught me that strategy really is important, and it's not always fly by the seat of your pants. So I love now that we can talk about these 4 areas of growth. So this would be your strategy. So it's what you need to learn. So, but here's the 4 things that we believe are really important. So the first one is your attitude, right? It's your mindset. And let me tell you, I mindset is a fascinating thing. I think I have it down. I think I've got a good mindset. Then all of a sudden, something happens. And then it's this, and then it's that. And I'm like, dang, where's my mindset? But at least I'm thinking about that, right? At least you're thinking about it and aware now. Like, I was never even aware the mindset was a thing, right? I just thought it happened, like whatever happened, happened. Right. So
yeah, Cheryl finishes a tennis match. She calls me on the way home. She's like, I need some more mindset training.
You have no idea. And it's so great because, like, I was playing tennis this morning and the girl tells me, so this girl that I play with is a professor. And so I'm talking to her and I'm like, I'm just so angry at this other girl. And she said, now what you need to do is get your mind right. You need to settle down a little bit because, you know, tennis, it's not just about tennis. It's about life. And I'm like, get away from me.
You sound like Paul. Get away from me.
Paul. You sound like me, you know, because in life, it's much easier for me to have a great mindset. Right. And so your attitude or your mindset is number one. Number two, your leadership ability. Right. You've got to be studying about leadership. That's why we're on the call today. Right. That's what we're talking about. We turn to John Maxwell for great leadership things to learn about leadership. Number three is equipping people. You have to know how to equip people to elevate their lives. How do we do that? Right? It all starts, for me, it all starts with health, right? We want to equip them to have better health or to elevate their health. So equipping people, you need to know how to do that. And then number four is relationships. So learning and growing in your relationships and being a better partner in a relationship, in any of your relationships, right? I think that's really important too to remember, is that it's us growing to become a better partner so in our relationships. So I love that, Paul. I love all of those. And it gives you a great roadmap.
Yeah, it really does. And so these are the four topics that Cheryl and I focus on the most. Every Tuesday, we think mindset and your attitude is so important. We do a podcast every single week on this. Every single week, we do a podcast on leadership. We feel that's the most important thing. We build programs. We built the health coaching program. We built the health evaluation system. We built a whole bunch of other things that are coming out because we want to give you the tools you need to be successful. So it's also turning around, helping your team have what they need to be successful. Then, of course, it's about relationships. And there's nothing more I love learning more about than relationships, how to interact with people, why people do what they do, how I can help change them in a positive way, make a positive impact on their lives. So all of that is just fascinating to me. I'm very curious about all of it. And these are definitely the four areas that Cheryl and I focus on growing and helping all of you grow in. But the key, Cheryl, and this is something that, again, is one of my strengths. The strategy is a strength of mine, and the measuring is also a strength of mine. That is now a strength of yours. Nothing more important than measuring. You can't measure it, you can't manage it. So, to stop for a moment, and Cheryl and I are obsessed with one system that's plan, do, review. So we got a plan, we do it. What happened? Well, we got to review a little bit, see what happened, make a better plan, do it again, review what happened. If you keep on going over and over again, sooner or later, you become super, super successful. It's a very, very simple concept, but people don't take the time to really go back and see, okay, I spent all this time on personal growth. Is that actually showing up someplace in my results in life? Is my, and I love this quote, money is just a convenient way of measuring how many people you've helped. Just think about it. Whoever has the largest longevity organization, largest longevity paycheck, has helped the most amount of people. It's just common sense. If someone sold 10 million, John Maxwell sold 100 million books. I mean, has he helped a lot of people? Yes. Has he made a lot of money? Yes. Why has he made a lot of money? Because he's had a massive impact on people. So you want to know what kind of impact you're having on the world? Look at your paycheck. It's a very, very difficult thing to do and to look at that way, but it's absolutely true, because the bigger the impact you have on people, the more you're going to be compensated for it. So we want to look at all four of these areas to look back at them, review them, and see, are we actually growing in these areas? And is it manifesting into positive results into our real life?
I love that, Paul. Another thing, another way that we can measure that I really like that John talks a lot about, and he does it every day, is write. So he
Yeah.
writes after everything that's going on in his life. He writes about it, and then you can always go back and look at the growth that has happened. And I've done that a couple of times, and it is absolutely amazing to me. And I love to be able to measure it that way, to see how you used to be, like, 1 year ago or whatever.
Yeah, journaling is so awesome. And that's just, I know he talks a lot about when the pen hits the paper, that's when the ideas begin to flow and the thoughts start coming. So there's just something magical when you put pen to paper, pen to tablet, like Cheryl and I do, electronically. So it's important that you keep that journal and write. And, Cheryl, it's about making growth your number one priority, and knowing that, we're looking for growth opportunities in every situation. And man, we could sit here all day and talk about bad things that are happening in the world. You want to focus on those things. You turn on the news, you'll be inundated with all this bad stuff that's happening. But it's really the meaning we give to everything that happens in our lives. So we're all experiencing different bad things all the time. But the question is, what does that mean? Is that the end? Is that the world's ending? This is happening. Sky's falling, that we're giving meanings to things. And it's just my super strength is really has been to wire my brain to look at these bad things that are happening to me. And bad things happen to me every day. And I'm able to give it the meaning of a learning experience. That was just a learning experience. I'm most obsessed with one quote in my life, and that's I never lose. Because let me tell you, I hate losing. So this is really good for me. I never lose. I either win or learn. And let me tell you, there's a lot of times I don't win. So either I'm going to look at that as a loss, or I'm going to look at it as a learn. And when I just love learning. Learning is my favorite thing to do. So it brings me such great happiness, and I'm just super excited when I get a chance to learn. So it's so important for us to watch the meaning we're attaching to things and turn everything into a learning experience. And I love the Cheryl. When we were kids, we asked questions. Why? Why is that? Why is that? Why is that? That's the key to this whole thing. You have to keep asking why. When you ask why is this, you go out and look for answers. You look for personal growth, books written, things on the internet about that topic, and you want to gather it all. Some things are not true. Some things are true. You want to, but read it, all of it, and then bring it in and say, this is what the beliefs I'm going to form around this topic. So it's really about continuing, Cheryl, to ask the question, why? If you keep on doing that, you will continue to get better.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's not always easy, Paul. That's not always easy to ask.
No, it's easy for a 2-year-old to do, but as we get older, it becomes more difficult.
It really does. So that's super important. The other thing is that you can file what you learn every single day. So that was so interesting to me. John said that the number one time robber in our lives is looking for things that we have lost or that we need. Isn't that weird? I never knew that. But then I thought, oh my gosh.
That's not you, Cheryl.
No, absolutely not. No, I'm kidding. But just file what you learn every day so that you have it. He says he does it all on his phone, and it's easy for him to go back and look at the things he's learned and look at the different ways that he's grown. And then we need to pass on to others what we have learned. And I think that to me, Paul, is so important. Yes, it's so important for us to learn and to grow, but it is just as important, if not more important, to pass it on to others.
Absolutely. And I know in a moment here, we're going to end this call and everyone's going to come on and thank Cheryl and myself for doing this. But it's us that should be thanking you, because we're the ones that get to learn all this stuff and then have the ability to come on this platform that Linda provides and help all of you grow, and to pass on what you're learning. So we feel extremely privileged to be here today and to be in front of all of you and to add a little value into your life. And hopefully you decide today that personal growth is mandatory every day in my life. A day without it is a wasted day. And that's been John's attitude his entire life, every single day, 365 days a year, just like Linda. Linda's like the next John Maxwell. It's like Mrs. Consistent. When you're consistent with that, you have the self-discipline, do it every day, you're going to see, it's this +1. And every time we end one of these podcasts, we talk about the +1 that we got from this, and you continue to add +1, +1, +1, +1 every single day. And +1 is the one thing you learn today. They always say that you learn something new every day. It's true, but you need to record it and to, as Cheryl mentioned, file it. And we do it electronically. We're able to tag it in Notion, and I can go back and pull up a tag on any topic there is out there. If I want to do a lesson on vitamin C, I have literally dozens and dozens of articles over the years that I've gathered on that. So it's easily for me to go back and look at those things, to have that information at my fingertips, which is super, super important. So Cheryl, we're going to move forward over the next 21 weeks and teach the 21 laws of leadership. I know you're super excited about that. We've gone through the book a few times already, but we're excited. It's a great time to go through it again. And what is our +1 for today, Cheryl?
Oh my gosh, this is a good one to keep in mind. Work on yourself before you work on others. Yeah, and I do love that. And I think it's so important to just remember that, as we continue to work on personal growth and have that be like our number one thing. I know, Paul, that it's completely changed my life and the way that I live my life and the way that I'm able to help other people more. Right. And I love that. I love this whole idea of each of us becoming better and then turning around and helping somebody else who's just starting on their journey.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, Cheryl. Thank you, Linda, for having us on today. We're so privileged to be here and so grateful for all of you. And we wish you the best. Have a great, great weekend, holiday weekend here. And we look forward to talking to you all soon. Have a great day, everyone.
Yes. Bye, you guys.
Oh, sorry, I had you on mute. Thank you so much, Paul and Cheryl. Wow, powerful information. And yes, we're going to come on here and thank you because we need this. It's a part of our journey. It's a part of our growth, and how we succeed and grow and prosper is so important in every area of our lives. And you always bring the fire, both of y'all. Oh my gosh, you bring the fire every time you come on. It's like, oh my gosh, we wish we could see it every day. But hey, join the podcast. You can hear it. You can listen to the recordings and absolutely get more and more of this that we yearn for every day from the amazing and beautiful Cheryl Morley and the fantastically awesome Paul Croteau. Have a great day, everybody. Definitely give it up for these incredible leaders. Thank you all so much. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Paul and
Bye.
Cheryl.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you.
Paul. Love it. Thank you all very much.
Great. Yes.
Oh,
You're welcome. Have a great day.
info.
Have a great weekend.
You too.
Great call,
Happy
Paul.
Memorial Day.
Notes.
Happy Memorial
Great
Day.
call.
Have a great
Happy
weekend.
Memorial Day.
You too, Linda.
Yes.
Good morning, Miss Mary. Miss
Thanks,
Queen
everyone.
Mary.
Good morning.
Miss Pat. Good morning.
You all are
and Miss-
wonderful.
Great
You and
superstars.
Miss Cheryl were thinking alike with colors.
That's
the best I can
Hey, purple is royal. Purple is
Great
royal.
mind thinks
Even
alike.
Bobby has a purple background. Everybody's got on purple.
Bye, you
Thank
guys.
y'all so
Love
much.
you.
Mary.
Bye,
Cheryl.
love you.
Thank you.
like your hair.
Thank
Thank
you.
Happy healthy hour tonight.
you.
Yes, the happy healthy hour. Don't miss it. Connie, Christine, Deborah, Joan, Catherine, Watima, and Antoine. Oh my gosh, Bobby and Cynthia, Beverly Matthews, Monica Cook, Carmen, Tara, Dia, Tony Breland, Auntie Pat, and of
Thank
course,
you.
Lorenzo Rothery and Queen Mary herself. We love y'all.
Love you too, and you have a blessed
Love you
weekend.
too.
Yes, have a great weekend. Happy Memorial
We're praying for
Day.
you and your family.
Bye-bye. You in our
so
prayers,
much.
Linda.
I
Yes,
receive.
yes.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yes, Linda.
You.
Praying for you.
Good morning, Carmen.
Good
Thank
morning,
you so much.
Auntie.
All right.
Thanks a lot, Linda. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Later,
Y'all have a
superstars.
blessed day.
Bye. Have a
Good
blessed
night. Yes. Love you all.
Have a good weekend.
Love y'all.